for notes and all that.
Oh yeah, these are where I put my notes and some like rough sketches, but this is where I do like my better drawings. You can notice the stock is a lot better. It's like it's a heavier paper, so it'll hold more like watercolor and stuff like that.
Yeah, so then like see, you can get like real sharp lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just beat the paper up a little bit.
It's cool. Yo. Sega.
Did you have a Sega Genesis growing up?
Yeah.
What was your first console?
What was my first console?
Yeah.
My first console. I'm trying to think. Either was the Game Gear or it was like something I owned. Like that I went out and got, or just like something.
No, the first one your parents got, someone gave you the Game Gear?
Yeah, it was actually the Game Gear. Madden 95, still stuck in it to this day.
You still have it?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I still have it.
Now, we're going to get into the Game Gear in a second with our guest, and I'll tell you who our guest is. First, we're going to do a special thing. Patreon.com/valet. You go on there, donate a little cashola, which will help pay the people who make this podcast possible. Some of it is going to go into my pocket, too, where I'm going to spend it on replicant ladies of the night. Edit that out in post. Actually, don't do that. I'm joking. It's a joke, everybody. What we always do here is a minute-long meditation or silence, or you just focusing on where you are in the present. I encourage you, where you're watching this, you're listening to this, whatever the hell, just pause for a minute, look at whatever it is you're doing, be silent, look at the blood on your hands, and you just like, how did I get here? 1 minute, starting now.
Yeah, I think it was past a minute.
Was it past a minute?
Yeah.
No, you guys, the next hour is the next 50 minutes. Isn't that great when you're on your own show, you have to have people tell you, like, dude, come on, fucking do your job. My guest, right here, you see sitting next to me, is an amazing artist, amazing musician, an amazing conceptual mind. Please introduce yourself to the people.
IMKA, originally from Texas. Moved down here to DC, 2011. Staying in VA now, had a kid, and that's what happens. Can't really be in a city like that, have to be the whole family man thing.
In the burbs, you got a yard?
Nah, it's not the burbs.
Okay.
But it's pretty good place as far as apartment living and stuff, But yeah, just good old general living. But yeah. But besides doing graphic design and doing music and stuff, well, I guess that would be it. Just art and graphic design. Anything that really pretty much that falls under that with 3D, like animation. Then like the technical side is also do like coding as well.
Which languages?
It's pretty much just Java, just real minimum, and working with some stuff that's in Cinema 4D. What is it, like the Express? That's in there. And there's like stuff that I do with some of my graphic design that's in how the hell I forget the name of that program.
After Effects, Blender?
Nah, it's like another technical.
Maya? Is it Maya?
Nah, not Maya. Processing.
Oh,
Processing.
okay.
Yeah, so it deals with its own language, which is pretty cool, fun, very freaking hard at times if you want to do something very detailed, but just, you know, it comes like how any other coding thing comes with, you know, issues. So
do you feel like there is, when you're creating music versus creating code, are you using, do you feel like it's the same part of your brain? Is there a struggle doing one of these things? Like, do you feel like you're at a musical keyboard, like when you're coding? What does it feel like as opposed to like when I see you DJing and just like controlling everything? I don't know all the technical aspects of that. Like, what are the differences?
I think it still deals with, I mean, it feels good, but it deals with the same thing, just like dealing with math and timing, and just in general with how you layer stuff is in comparison, like layering, like how you do with sound beds, you know, with kicks, snares, percussion, Foley recording. As far as like how you blend those, like you take that same type of thinking, that process into like how you would do something in Photoshop, as far as you have multiple layers, then you do, you know, overlaying, you know, color light and stuff like that, like how you do everything in, you know, Photoshop when you have to do that. So, you know, just going from different programs to different DAWs, it still feels the same. It's just different math equations, you know, how to get a different result. But as far as the language, I feel like it's the same language, you know, just in general, like all the time. But
you meaning that coding and music creation is the same language?
Yeah, to me it feels like the same language. And it's like everything that I just said, just like how you take a certain part of a machine or whatnot and treat it this way, then you go to another machine and treat it that way. But it just has different language as far as like different words to say in order to get like that result. So like, yeah, splitting up the layers in Photoshop, you know, when you're doing like collage art and stuff like that, and compare it to like taking your kicks, snares, percussion, you know, other layers of like different music and stuff, and piecing it all together. As far as that's how I feel, that is like all the same to me.
I feel when I'm working on different mediums, I feel a disconnect. Like I've been trying to learn Java, and it could not feel farther to me, like from drawing. And I think it's the graphic. Yeah, it's the GUI. It's the like feeling like, I guess it's not a GUI, but like when you're drawing, you get a certain kind of feedback that is, I know that there's math there, but I don't see the numbers, which I like. I like not having to see numbers outside of opacity and that sort of thing. It's like that's the only number I have to worry about, or the size of my brush. Were you a good math student growing up?
No, I was actually not a good math student, which is odd. But I love science. Like I had good grades in science, which science still deals with a big part of any other language, and that's math. But as far as like that situation, it could be what I've always thought about in my head is my parents and I've been military, so been like going from like different schools to different schools like every year, you know, or every other year or whatnot. So I guess like trying to learn math when you moving from like Germany, then you go into like, you know, other places where they don't use the metric system like how we use it, you know. So it's like, then your dad goes to like North Korea, then like the way he talks, the way he deals with numbers is different from like how I was in the States or where I came from, so, you know, from moving different places. So it's I think that's what kind of affected me while my math was bad. I still can add, I still can do what I do math wise, like, yeah, I know how to do my bills and taxes and all that other stuff, yes. But just like the advanced parts of language, dealing with math, yeah, I just really couldn't connect like that. But if you was to give me like something like an equation of dealing with like in science and dealing with half-lives or whatnot, then I'll be able to find that answer for you.
But
it deals science. I don't know. I just like science math more than regular math. I don't know.
So do you feel like it's more, what I'm hearing is like if it's more objective oriented, because I mean scientific math is kind of like we're trying to solve a problem, we're trying to get to a point, and then we're good once we get there, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of the same thing with project, right? When you're doing when you're using math on a project, you're trying to get to a goal.
Yeah. And just like how you said, like dealing with science or whatnot, like when you get to that point and you're good from there, like it can go further and further and further, to different places that you won't be able to imagine just by dealing with math in its basic. Even though like numbers and analog and digital, like digital have 0, 1, 1, 0, whatever, to tell this language. And there becomes a point where you do have to stop. You can't really take it to, a certain level because it's digital, but it's different from dealing with analog. And I think that's why analog, and as far as, like longevity and taking art and going different places with it, whatnot, you can continuously keep doing that and doing that. Just like in music, like, putting sound beds together, putting different notes, different scales, different modes and stuff like that into a song, but it can still follow its format as far as like where you lay your fingers at in the keys, and it still can go on. And that's how I feel like with science, is that when you get to a certain point, you can go many different places and you'll be able to understand the language. And I think that's what made my brain a little bit better on why, my mechanic skills and skills of doing so many things within art besides just doing graphic design. And I can shoot a video, I know how to edit it, I know how to color it, do whatever I need to, but also can hold that same language and put it into Photoshop. And that's how I feel like with science, is that it's analog to me. You'll be able to get to other places that you won't be able to get to dealing with something like digital, which I never really had a fun. It wasn't really great for me because I just felt like, yeah, I'm gonna get to a point, I'm gonna stop. It's just math. You're dealing with 1, 0, and 0, 1 in a digital form. So
how do you think we can reintroduce, or do you think we will ever reintroduce this to the digital format? Like this cannot, like you can't do this on a computer. And for you listeners, I'm tearing a piece of paper, I'm tearing it and I'm balling it up. That feeling right here is like, this is ancient right here. This is like our ancestors did this sort of thing, just rolling rocks around in their hands and just getting their hands wet in the wet. And computers just, we're getting somewhere where like we have graphics tablets now, which have a styli.
You'll be able to get that same feeling, but it'll be in a digital form.
What does that look like? Haptic feedback, like a glove, like a Ready Player One?
Probably, yeah. But you'll probably be able to get that in the form of just like, yeah, they're not there. That person is there. It's not there, like as far as like the audience, hearing or doing the ripping and paper and stuff like that. But you'll be able to get that in a different sensory.
How do you think we will be able to do that?
So getting back to,
is it triggering the?
Getting back to paper, just like how stuff really feels, like more concrete over abstract. I mean, as technology goes, like it's going to be more abstract than concrete. It's going to be more digital than analog.
Are you saying the feeling, the feeling I have in my brain of touching this will be digital? Like it won't feel this way when I'm.
It'll feel that way some way.
Wait.
In a different way because you got other senses.
Are you saying?
But yeah, you say haptic. Then we got VR. Shit, technology took off. Crazy.
Okay, so the easiest way would be I'm wearing a glove, and haptic is like, my understanding of this is that it would just, if I'm touching something in the VR world, it gives feedback against my palms where
that person was doing it from. So,
but
will we get back? Yeah, we'll always get back to it, just in a different form.
But it would be cool if like I mean, what you said just reminded me of synesthesia. I know a lot of people claim to have this. I don't think that many people have it. But Blood Orange, you know that guy,
Yeah.
Dev Hines says he has it, and I believe him. But you were saying things like you can smell colors, you can see sounds, and that sort of thing. But that would be interesting. It could lead us to some really interesting paths if we could.
Some people who say they have it, like him, and hearing his last release on how he makes so many different genres and times it made it fit perfectly. Like, yeah, I believe him too.
Yeah.
Like,
there are a lot of fakers out there. Some fakes.
I was like, damn, like you mix Memphis sound, you mix some 92, what's that sound? Like the New Jack style into sounding like Frank Ocean. Like you had so many different tastes, like, and made it just one. And like one of these tracks, I forgot the name of the track. Probably like one of my favorites, would not, to choose from after this video or something, but I don't know. But forgot the name of the song, but I know where it's at in the track list.
Is it Saint?
I don't know. I do not know the title. I keep passing it, and I keep thinking like, wow, that song is like beyond me.
All right, we're gonna find a song
me in a way.
Beyond you. I mean,
yeah.
Is it one of those like spiritual ones where you hear it and you're like, how is this existing right now?
Yeah. And that's when people say that they have that, where they can see sound and stuff like that, like people like him, like, yeah, I believe you, because that was a lot of different things that hit you in so many different places as far as like your mind, body, and soul, to like making it your one thing.
You can't fake. There are a lot of things you can fake in this world, but that level of artistry of when you see a performance, you hear something and you know that person has gone to a place and has pulled it, has manufactured it from some realm. And that's my favorite kind of work. Yeah. Speaking of, I'm about to embarrass you right now because I saw your
appreciation of music. Yeah,
when you were DJing the other day at what was it? Eaton Wellness, a beautiful venue. These two drawings I showed you earlier, and we're going to show these in post. But real quick, I'm going to show these for the people. For you audio listeners, you got to watch the fucking video. These two pages I drew after I saw you up there DJing, and I sat down in a corner.
Okay.
And I was just, and this is just freestyle. Your music to me feels like it reminds me of a location. It's sort of like it feels like I'm somewhere. Like you're, in the way you compose music, even if you're sampling and stuff like that, it feels like I'm in a place. And I was in this dark ass corner at this lovely bar. It was late as shit, so I think I was.
It's very dark in there. Like that one corner that you're talking about in Eaton, yeah.
Yeah,
that was dark.
I was half passed out when I was drawing this. I don't remember drawing most of this stuff, but I did remember the music and feeling like it was this feeling of like I was in some kind of black zone, almost like the sunken place, but comfortable, and everything was like this water that I was in that was like waist deep or something. But do you have a connection to place when you're making music? Are you imagining places? Because I know there's a lot of textures. The Foley stuff it's like. What is your relationship to place and your music?
I would say that is about my music. It's very environmental. Due to like me as a kid being a military kid and traveling to different places and whatnot. Like, I think I try to like reflect that. We'll put that into my music. To show that like there's certain times where there's certain days I think of a place that I went or memories I had, and sometimes I make more of my music off of it being from an emotional state, at a time in my life or whatnot, and I try to make that into my music. So that's how my stuff reflects that's how my music reflects on, to people that, yeah, it's environmental. I do pull from different locations. There's a lot of my music that I have created, since I've been here in DC, or any other place that I traveled or whatnot. I do the field recordings and put it into the music.
But you want it to be in the location that you are recording it in? Is it important that it comes from the place where you're, you know what I mean, like the whatever 5 mile radius or something? Like how do you choose where you're getting these field recordings from?
Either I create it myself, as far as like trying to replicate an area that I've been to that was in my childhood, or
just from memory.
Just from memory. You know, I try to get as close to what I think to what this environment sounded like to me.
Wow. Okay.
And at this time, I would not, you know, to put it on the song that I'm trying to make from what I'm feeling at that time. So, yeah, let's say hearing things of like being in a library, like, you know how you step into a library, it's just like very muffled sound, very like close, very boxy, you know. So I try to I'll go into libraries and stuff and record how it feels in there, you know.
Okay.
Then when it comes, you know, to whatever music that I'm making, then that's when I boost up the levels as far as like the bass, the room ambience, you know,
exaggerate,
added, you know, like certain places or whatnot. Yeah, exaggerate certain elements of the sound that I would have and mix that into the Foley recordings, you know, to the field recordings that I have. And after that, just start building up on the music as far as how close it is to me emotionally. So that's when it comes to my music. It's not really chromatic like what you hear on the radio. It's more of like diatonic.
Please explain these words to me. Please.
No, so I mean, your regular chromatic music that you have, you know, that a lot of people listen to on the radio is either stuck in a major or minor, you know, through the whole song, and probably 3 notes, you know, like a F major or a G or a B or whatever.
And it doesn't
it doesn't really go past those.
Okay.
Past those notes, those chords, you know, its limitations and fourths, you know, third, fourth, fifth, seventh. Like it doesn't, you know, it's just chromatic. So a lot of my music is more diatonic, where it goes in between. I mean, it hits those chords if it wants to, but more on a sound that's more haunting, that's more of like a deeper, you know, that has more like a fifth and a seventh in there. You know, to not just being major or minor, you know, I can go from different chord sets to different chord sets and different modes, but also change the octave of it, or that's it, you know. So my won't just be like major or minor. Like I'll play the stuff that'll be like the Dorian mode, you know, Lydian.
It's going.
You know,
I really wish I knew what you're talking.
Yeah,
someone out there who is smart will
and changing it, you know, going up, down the scale, transposing keys and stuff. So it's more getting in emotion of like a deeper feeling, kind of like ambient, you know, which it is, you know, ambient music that I make, you know.
Am I correct in
down tempo?
Am I correct then in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how I'm interpreting what you just said is like the more you break out of the traditional pop format of, I'm sure I would understand this stuff more if you could like play it for me, which we might do in another episode. That would be really cool to see you like demonstrate this for me so I could get it more. But so you're saying if the more you diverge from like pop keys and those tempos, the more haunting feeling you get, or is it connected to that? Is that how you get there more easily?
More humanized in its tone, its keys, its chords, you know, to feel more close to your human being than just being like the major or minor chromatic mode, where you're freaking the outer body experience of a person out. You know, to be
by going outside of what?
Yeah, by going outside, like it goes you know, screaming and stuff like that. You know, to more of just like diatonic. I'm more of like soul, like what's more in the inner of your body.
Are you a meditator?
Not really.
I'm kind of shocked.
I can. I guess my form of meditating sometimes would be just getting up in the morning and playing keys, and
you just immediately just go.
Just playing keys and just testing stuff out, you know. So I guess that would be like my form of meditation in the morning, because that's literally like some of the first things I do. It's just that, and I think I'd probably just get it out the way.
Like it's gotta happen.
Get up, go train, or just listen to something new, or just play something new.
Do you ever play in your dreams? Do you ever make music in your dreams or listen to it? What is that like? Can you Do you remember it when you come out of the dream? Like, how do you?
I think every time that I heard a song that I never heard before in my head and I try to recreate it, like I lose that within like 10 to 15 minutes. Like
If it was in a dream.
if it was in a dream, like it gets lost. I'm quite sure anybody else have done it before, or like you try to go do something or try to remake something that you heard in your head, or you know, go do whatever you try to do, and it just falls out of memory. So you probably got about like 15 minutes.
So you have it.
I think with me, every time I try to make something, I'm like, I just don't have it anymore. But I still try. It's weird for me. Like I guess I lose touch of like trying to play it, and I just give up. But I still have it in my head over time. Then, honestly, if I didn't record it, it's gone. But I heard a lot of great music in my dreams, but try to recreate it is something else. I did it for like 3 songs, like I think it was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. Like
the series of like songs that I did, but ever since then, it's just been a hard thing. You can do it. It's just.
Sometimes I wonder if our dream art is not as good as we think it. Like it's everything to me feels beautiful in a dream, but like sometimes I think the stuff that we don't hold on to outside of it was just not meant to be held on to. You know, like we just you can come out and try to capture it. I'll try to write things down and like fuck it, I don't have it.
Yeah, and that's how it is with the music. Sometimes when I be making, I'm like 15 minutes past. Like it's just I don't want to make it. Like I lose touch of it. Like,
when do you know how to force it to be like, no, you're coming back. Like I'm not giving up on you. Like what is? How do you know when it needs to be pursued and hunted down? Everything's aggression with me. I hunt my ideas down, stab them.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think. Like have I ever? I'm thinking like I have put myself in that position. Like I feel it that I have put myself in that position, but I don't remember it. Of like when I try to force myself to like really, really grab it, but for some reason I feel like I've done it before. I wish I could answer that question.
Oh yeah,
just like tried to, but I'm quite sure we all woke up and with $100 in our hands, and we wake up, we look at our hand, and be like, oh shit, it's not even here. I really wish I had the $100.
I used to have the money dream a lot. I used to get the dream where
or just an object dream in your hand, and you wake up and you don't have it, and you're pissed off. I think those are like one of the hardest dreams to have. You got to wake up, instant realization that like
it's a lie.
It was a lie.
And I don't know what that is. It's just like it's just your brain fucking with you on like because your brain wants you to have that thing. It wants you to attain it, but you're just not capable of it. Maybe it's some kind of a guide.
That's get you there. I don't know. And I think that's why I probably need to do meditations.
I mean, I
figure out a little bit more of like what's going on with these dreams. But
what I've noticed is like when I've been meditating for like almost 2 years now regularly, and it definitely makes I'm able to retain my dream memories a lot more. Like when I come out, it's longer than 15 minutes. Like that moment, I still have a window. It might be 30 minutes to an hour for me, but like I do have a longer window of like if I focus on whatever happened back there, then I can kind of capture
really get it. Like really,
because during your meditations you'll hear stuff and see things. Because I mean, you're putting yourself in like an intentionally boring state. You're putting yourself in the most boring state of life. Because I know like when you were a kid, you used to play around like draw, write and stuff. But this is like intentionally being like, okay, I'm gonna be the most bored person possible, and your phone's not intervening, and you're not letting anything in, so you're just able to like, you imagine like a green person talking to you, like, okay, I'll hold on to that, but you're just conscious enough that you're like, I'm gonna hold on to it this time.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't think
I never really had anybody explain yoga to me.
It's
I did do in a yoga event, but how she explained it to me was different from yours.
What'd she say?
It was more in a superficial way. I can't like really, but yours was just like, yeah, we put ourselves in a bored state of mind. Like, thank you. That's how that's how I really want to fucking hear about yoga. Is it boring as shit? Oh, it's very boring. But what happens after? Oh, you feel great after. I think that'd be a little bit more encouraging.
The boring state of mind.
Not that I'm shitting on her or anything.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I think that, yeah, that'll probably get people in there that thinks like me. Like, hey, I don't think yoga is really that great, but
boredom.
It looks great, but I don't know why I don't want to do it. So.
I mean, it's being bored is actually very good, because all this technology we have around us is designed to make us the opposite of bored. There are no apps that are like, I'm going to make you bored. Everything is...
Oh, they give you no notifications.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they get you now, is that you'll get a notification for like a tweet that you knew that you read.
Right.
You're like, why are you telling me about this?
I did it already. I read it.
Like, whoop-de-doo. Somebody became friends with somebody else or followed somebody else on Instagram. Like, I don't care for that notification. I think that's where it's at.
But it's attaching itself to, like, our lizard brain. Like, it's attaching itself to our need to be social and seek approval, and it's just it's getting right to it. It's like, this person likes you. What? They like me? Oh, and you can get sucked into that shit really quick.
Yeah.
But speaking of technology, I wanted to go back to the Game Gear. So the Game Gear, for you damn kids out there who don't know, it was the first
Switch.
It was the first
with no Wi-Fi. Like,
but it was like this, right? It was like a damn brick, but it had
literally like a brick, like a stretched out little brick.
But the screen was like maybe 2 inches by 2 inches, but full color.
Yeah, full color.
So it was, and the sound was good too. It had a little sound.
Big old speakers right there where the palms are at. Palms where your palms are at. I mean, but you had to have like 6 batteries.
It was a lot of fucking.
You had to have 6 batteries to power it up. And let you ride in somewhere and one of those batteries fall out, there's no saving. There's no going back. You have to start over, you know, for the games that didn't have the memory slot in the cartridge. But yeah, majority of the time, if you ain't finished the game, it's pretty much a wrap.
And we just dealt with it.
We dealt with it. Like, it's crazy how it's sometimes I used to look at my phone and be like, yo, why was I never doing this with the Game Gear? Putting this shit on the charger all day, every day. Like, we were so not sucked into technology. For us to be saving...
Was that a capability? Could you have just...
Yeah, there's a power. There's a power.
Oh.
A power. You see, we never really cared about the AC or, like, sitting somewhere. You know,
because we wanted to move.
Yeah, we really wanted to be mobile with it. Like, so... You had 6 batteries in there that kept you away from the wall. Like, we tried to get away from the wall in the 90s and the early 2000s. And that
away
shit happened.
From the wall.
Yeah, then here it is. Some of the best things that we like now, it's best that it stays in the wall. Like, the GameCube. Like, that shit.
You're right, not mobile. But you know what they did do to encourage the mobile aspect of the GameCube is they put the handle on the back. Do you remember that? The handle on the back of the GameCube. Do we have the GameCube in studio? Downhill Media?
No GameCube.
No GameCube.
Damn.
But do you remember the plastic handle on the back of it? It was like a...
Nah, I don't think I had that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I had it. But they had it like you can walk around with like a suitcase.
Okay, no, I'll show you. This is important.
Wow.
It was designed in a way where it's like, oh, you're gonna be taking this over to your friend's place.
Yeah.
So you see that? Mm-hmm. They wanted you to hold it by the.
Oh, we're talking about the GameCube. Did I get mixed up with the Game Gear?
You did.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you thought it, like Game Gear had a handle. Yeah, you got mixed up.
I know. Yeah, I was sitting there like, like what? Yo, you talking about the? Oh yeah.
GameCube. Nintendo GameCube had a big plastic handle, and Nintendo are the champions of.
Wow, I really said Game Gear. My whole mind state and speech was on that.
Like, what the hell are you talking
about? The GameCube. Okay. Yeah. All right. The little bitty disc that you have to put in there. Yeah.
They did everything in their power to make a different kind of system to fucking... But that's everything Nintendo does, is they try to do different shit. Are you playing any games right now?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of PUBG Mobile, actually.
Okay. You're a PUBG guy. All right.
PUBG. There's this one game. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pull out my phone.
Go ahead. Do it.
But I'm quite sure we can do that on this show because talking about.
You can do whatever you want on the damn show.
It's made. I think Konami made it or whatnot. Okay, there we go. Anyway, besides this game, I think that's the only ones that I've really been playing like for real. Like the PUBG and this other game that I have on my phone.
You have a kid. I know you don't have a bunch of time to be running around like we used to do.
It's real. I mean, it's great, but it's like, damn, it's really whacked that. Like, I can't really play games and do what I like to do. You know,
get responsibilities.
Right? Yeah, I got responsibilities, but it's all good. Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Yeah, Square Enix. I'm sorry.
Okay. I played the first few episodes of that. Didn't finish it. No, they have a second season of that game now. A second.
I bought that. Like, the Life is Strange. Like
the Hispanic kids.
Yo, it's freaking great.
Where Trump traps them at the border wall and they gotta fight him.
Hold on, that's in the game?
No, I'm kidding.
That part two, like, whoa.
You guys are stuck here. And it turns into like a battle. Whoa.
But there's a part in the game, Life is Strange, that no. That's Indigo Prophecy that I'm thinking of. I've been thinking of Bandersnatch. I'm sorry. Brain fart, definitely. But
Indigo Prophecy though, man.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. Life is Strange, you do the same thing as well. You have to make choices.
Yeah.
In the game and whatnot in order to progress. So I've been playing that before I even heard of Bandersnatch, but yeah, and games and other movies like that. But yeah, Indigo Prophecy, then Life is Strange on the phone, and PUBG.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for right now.
I liked Indigo Prophecy in
creepy.
Yeah, and conceptually it was good. It was very creepy. I believe the team that makes that is Quantic Dream, who they also did Beyond Two Souls. They did the Android game where they have the little
Heavy Rain. Too.
Heavy Rain, yeah.
Oh, that's a mobile game, Heavy Rain?
Oh no, it's not. It's a PS3 game.
Oh, PS3. Okay.
They do a lot of. They're big into the choices in these games, but I don't. One of my issues with choices in video games is that I don't like feeling like, and Bandersnatch suffered from this too. It's like, you know, you're gonna get to a certain ending anyway. Like they give you this illusion that you're gonna veer wildly off course, but you always end up coming back to where they want you. And I want.
The thing is with Bandersnatch, like it makes you go back. I mean,
you don't have
like you could continuously go back and go back and go back.
Yeah.
Like on your decisions and change them up.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like Indigo Prophecy, like you only got like one time.
True.
To like go back and like see what these two decisions are, but you get more choices. Bandersnatch, I didn't get that, but I chose the Frosted Flakes and I chose the Cocoa Puffs. I went in on that shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so much you can get to.
Did you
in Bandersnatch before you're just like, it's just done. Like you can't get no more. But like Indigo, I felt like I had more choices.
It definitely had more. I would have loved to see Bandersnatch be Black Mirror making a PS4 or mobile game would be pretty beautiful. It would be some weird shit.
Would you think they get into the company that did the stuff with Indigo Prophecy?
If they did, that's money. That's money. I'll pay right now for that. And I could see it happening because with Bandersnatch, they're reaching into. They're trying to be more than just a TV show. They're trying to say, okay, we're talking about technology.
Yeah.
Then let's actually try different types of it. I would love to see mobile games from them. I would love to see podcasts from them, where like the podcast is like, not fourth wall breaking, but you know what I mean, like scripted, where it starts getting fucked up. I want to see them go to different realms, like that.
I like. Remember the Goosebumps books?
Yeah, of course. Love them.
Yeah, those multiple. Them choice books or whatnot.
Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, Choose Your Own Adventure.
Those are some of my fondest childhood memories. Is besides eating a bunch of Chinese food and getting fat. Goosebumps was. I just loved that. I just always liked creepy shit. I feel like you like creepy shit too.
Yeah. Always.
Did you read any Stephen King growing up? Did you?
Nah, I didn't find out about Stephen King until I moved to Texas with my dad's ex-wife, because she had a whole bunch of books, and it was nothing but Stephen King books.
Stephen King fans go in like when they like it, they love it.
So that was freshman year. When I found out about Stephen King, I was already on my weird shit like back in middle school, but I never read a book from Stephen King. I always just seen it. I always knew what it was. You know, like I read the synopsis, but I never went into like reading the books. But everybody who I know that reads Stephen King books, they're like, yo, like it's really some good ass writing. Like you really should check this out. And I always get recommendations to do it, and I don't know why I haven't done it yet. Because it's like by reading his books. So
the recommendation thing is like sometimes people will give you, when like 20 people keep telling you to do the same thing, it's sometimes there's like a little bit of pushback, like I'll get to it in my time. All right, like chill. I did want to talk about your computer animation and these characters, your the graphic design. These creatures, I love them. Are they creatures? Are they people? These guys.
I still just look at them at like models, to be honest. Just like, I wouldn't say a creature or anything. I ain't really give it no name. You know, haven't really put any like body rig on it to move the whole thing. It's just more of just, yeah, you're a model.
Okay, so
you just like an object, and a series that I am working on as far as like liquid and glass emissions. And so a lot of people think that's like wicker gold plated metal, but it's just like, it's wicker style, but it's a octane render, and all of that is liquid gold, like going through the different parts of inside the tubing. Like if I was to show you the digital part of that and zoom in, like mathematically within that program in Cinema 4D, they're about like an inch. Then there's another program that I use called Real Flow, where basically you can inject water into those pipes and have a transparent layer of that little wicker style. So I can just keep filling it up with water, you know.
In the tubes. In
the tubes or whatnot. And there's a glowing orb within inside of that sticker wicker style, what you see there,
right here,
that it emits an orange light. And what you see from here is basically just like the spectacular levels and the diffuse depth levels or whatnot from a softbox that's up here to the right.
Okay.
So I treat it just like photography, and I have another softbox here, and there's another softbox in the back. And but yeah, it's just basically a translucent layer, wicker based style, filled up with liquid, and the liquid is texturized with gold.
So these guys aren't moving in your head. They're not.
They can move, but I freeze it like it's still like a photography,
gotcha,
like a photograph.
For those of you listening, you got to check this damn thing out. These rigs are beautiful. They're like, to me, I have to superimpose a character from my head when looking at this thing. I just imagine some kind of like God being born or something like this. But it's I love these models that you've been creating. I want to see them move some more at some point in the future, though. That would be great.
Yeah, I do have the ability to do it, like with the setup that I have, that allows me to do that with that many like particles. Like that's over millions of particles that you're emitting, you know, from real flow within Cinema 4D. Like a normal computer would shut down probably like halfway trying to do it, but as far as like mine, you know, with the 3 GPUs that I have, you know, the extensive amount of RAM, 2 processors.
How much RAM are you working with? 64?
32.
Okay.
Yeah, 32, but it's still expandable to 64. But I already spent my money in the GPUs, which I'm like, I don't really need to put a lot into memory for what I'm doing. And I have a casing, what do you call it, thermal talk, or we'll give you the real name. Well, that's the name of the casing that I have for it, that I bought. Yeah, with that casing, that allows me to put a dual processor in there, 2 i5s, and that's how I'm pretty much working in an overclock system.
Got a savage computer.
Yeah, it took me about like 3 months after just to set it up and make sure it's going to run well, like because you have to do all of the voltage that's going to different places and making sure that your computer is not going to have like a kernel peak somewhere in the memory or whatnot that's high enough to basically just like fault your whole memory, your RAM, and just makes it just fall through. So yeah, I guess that's kind of where math and science again, like when we was talking about, dealing with overclocking the system, it's still hard. Like since it's still hard since the first time I built a custom computer. That was back in high school, 2005. Like here it is, 2019. It's like, yo, yeah. Putting it together just to create something like that, like it's hard as shit.
I mean, if you mess up on that one thing, it's I mean, like I
go too high in the level, it still can crash.
Oof.
I still get crashes to this day. So no matter how fast it is, like you do something that could push a computer's limit, especially with the setup that I have with mine, like, oh yeah, it's gonna crash.
I did want to talk to you about, I want to understand a little more about Evidence of Yesterday, which you described as a collective, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So the difference between Evidence of Yesterday and IMKA,
yeah.
Like describe to me how these things relate to each other, how the collective relates to you. Like, what is Evidence of Yesterday? Tell us about it.
It's it's a record label, creative record label that I started. We'll be launching in February actually. It's me taking myself away from I guess from the freelance world, which we was actually talking about before that big old conversation came up on Twitter, and everybody was talking about freelance this and freelance that and the good and the bad things from it. But it basically took me away from that, with the skill set that I have, and actually put it into one thing in order to help artists and progress the creative community scene and stuff that we have, more just on the educational side, and showing that the music that we're also putting out, educational on the art side and music, but when it comes to the focus of the music, it's basically showing that there's no boundaries within this label, and also our argument is more to talk about the music that we make, in order to have the people understand who don't listen to left field electronic music, because the conversations that we have, Evidence of Yesterday, what it means as far as the conversation, just what we had in the past that affects us for the next day. And it's all well, I'd rather talk about whatever I'm speaking, which everything that we're saying right now is going directly into the past, in order to make, the future as far as anything that we're doing, better for the people who don't understand it, is to educate them and show them that there's different things that a label can do that's just not confined to doing one thing, and show that label, as far as the collective that we have and our jobs, is very expansive, and being that creative record label, building a brand identity. A majority is going to be coming from me on the art side, but I'm also able to help artists at the same time. But yeah, stepping away from freelance, going into an actual business, from DBA to LLC, focusing on one thing, which I've always done, but I guess it's going to give me a different result, is because I have more control over it than not being a freelance, where I think that whoever comes at me or whatnot, they have more control over the end result, and in order, which was different from me, I'm a label, I'll be able to create that end result in a more profound, in a more profound way than saying I mean, collaboration, I guess, is still there, but I'm trying to basically, I'm going to make it easier for everybody to understand the different styles that are out there.
So the teaching is going to be a big component.
Yeah, more of on the educational side, and just releasing good music and doing great art and not doing the same stuff that is in that current time, you know. But I guess that's what any label tries to do, you know, whether you're independent or a major. But I just feel that's like one of my goals, you know, which I've always done, you know, with my music and art, was to do something that is not in the norm, push it to where people just recognize it on the level to where they look at it like a major. But yeah, I mean, the definition of just like evidence yesterday, what I'm gonna do can go very, very long, but we'll talk. I definitely, the website, everything else will be able to explain it more or whatnot. Well, it's gonna have more detail or whatnot.
I mean, I'm so excited about it because I mean, for everyone listening and watching, I mean, like you gotta see IMKA's music to understand. It's a lot of it is beyond words. I'm very excited to see what you do with Evidence of Yesterday, and I usually we do a question segment at where are we at with time? 51. Ooh, I like it. It's nice, brother. Ooh, yeah. I shouldn't do a Hulk. We usually have questions. We didn't have any questions. What's up, Michelle Goldchain, Downhill Media? Usually we have questions. We did not have any today, but if you guys have any in the future, you can always do ask@domrabburn.com. The questions today will be coming from me and the audience, all right? My question is very selfish for you. You are really good at being a freelancer and getting these amazing opportunities. I've seen you do some really awesome stuff. Look through your sites. You have these amazing opportunities, and it is rare for me to see a musician being able to. I know that's not just one label. I know you're a lot of things, but like, what is your advice to get yourself into these amazing spots and just show up and tackle these projects and just come out and do all these things? Like, what is? I know it's a very general question, but what is your advice for artists to get the business side done, get these connections made, and be seen and make these things happen?
Honestly, it's really just educating yourself on who that person is or who that business is, you know, what everybody's role is, and like how do you talk to that person that's in that role. And compared to just like walking up into whatever the place that you're at and be like, oh, you know, like I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that, and you're talking to the wrong person the whole time. So I think that's one thing that I always do, you know, is to like educate myself on who this person is or what this company is about, you know, whatever our message that I'm trying to like give to them in order to do business with them or whatnot, you know, who's that person that I need to talk to. And so I guess that would be like one of the things of just like making sure that anything that you do, like you can't take everything into one and bring it to one person. Like you have to break it down in detail or whatnot to send it to different people. And I think that's like one of the things that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about or whatnot. But me, I always like to address like the foundational issues or whatnot, or go to this one source and try to skip the middleman. So that's what I push to people, is to just educate yourself on who that company, who that person is, and if you need to speak to that person, properly come up with the email that you need to have for that person. Give them the information, you know, if you're an artist, an EPK, you know, because a lot of people don't like sitting here these days and trying to figure out, you know, who you are, you know.
What is EPK?
Electronic press kit.
Okay.
So where basically it just gives you the information of who that person is, of I would say, you know, like their skill sets and the shows that they have coming up. You know, they have some pictures there, that, you know, important dates, information, you know, like recent press or whatever, you know, biographies. So it gives you all of that stuff that they have done in probably like the last, you know, it updates like every quarter, you know. So a lot of people would give like, yo, the last 2 or 3 quarters this has been happening. And years later, you know, years before, this is what they've done. Yeah, so it's all in there. So yeah, electronic press kit, those things, and like I said, educate yourself on the person and the company, and follow suit with what you have to do in order to get what you need to be done, what needs to be done. So
okay, so that's for the samurais out there, the professionals, the people who've been doing it for years, the people who just get up in the morning and are like, I'm ready for this shit, just shooting. That advice is for the fucking shooters out there.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna take it to another level of the. I know there are a lot of these people watching, listening, because I get questions from them a lot. The people who they're not samurais yet. They're trying to train up to become a samurai. They're trying to figure out what their place is, what their voice is. What is your advice for people who feel like they're just starting out? They're trying to figure out how to not quit on themselves creatively.
Humbly go through your trial and errors. Take it as for what it is. You're gonna fail no matter what. On all aspects of everything or whatnot. It's just learning that lesson and making it better. So whatever business that you're trying to have. So, yeah. And I think I'm saying that as in terms of just, that's something I know I definitely went through. Was to just humbly just take my trial and errors. Like, yeah, I still make mistakes,
Yeah.
to this day, so it's, and it's something you're not supposed to be doing, to a certain extent, but, that's something that you just have to tell yourself is that, yeah, no matter what, I'm gonna have my mistakes, long as I can take that in, learn from it, educate myself on why I need to do this better, and also educate yourself on why you made that mistake and how not to make it again, and just go through it. Like, it's gonna be hard no matter what. I can't sugarcoat it with you, but
You're right.
But as long as you are educating yourself or doing whatever that you need to do, in terms of like saying that you love it or whatnot, yeah, just chalk it up and just keep on going. Do your trial and errors, and just learn from it. So yeah, that's what I really have for them.
I dig it. Do we have any questions from the audience, from Downhill Media?
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you have any specific New Year's resolutions or anything? I feel like that's an appropriate question to ask. anything you feel like you could do better this year that you learned from last year also?
Actually, I tweeted about it, and I think it's still up there. And it might be wild to say, but it was I think I said something about like lying to people more and stop.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on.
It's a whole theory. It's like of lying to people.
IMKA says lying is good. Put that up here and put. IMKA says lie to everybody.
No.
All right, go ahead.
I've always been a truthful guy. I always give people, their props. Also tell people about the bad things they've done. But I always try to have a solution. But I noticed that when I said, going from a freelancer to like LLC or whatnot, like, I think that's something that you have to take away from it is that like you have to put into it is to not like deliberately lie. I said like more of like lie more and. Oh my gosh, it was perfect sense. You lie more, but you have, wow.
This hole is getting deeper.
It really is because I cannot figure out what I said on that last part of it. Not, I think
What's your Twitter? Should we just find it? Let's find. We gotta find the source. Let's do it.
We gonna have to look that up.
What's your Twitter?
Official IMKA. Yeah. So it goes along the line of like. Like lying more and telling people. Matter of fact, let me just stop this, okay? More of this is I always have this saying, okay? Is never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, and it was the theory of like what I said in that tweet. It was a long time ago. You have to go to this. You have to do the search bar, put in my name and type in a lie. And I'm quite sure it'll come up.
Okay.
So it was not letting people know. Well, when I say not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, is basically saying that like you're not telling people, your exact moves or whatnot. So like telling people the full truth about yourself at that current time. Because I find sometimes that a lot of people do take advantage of, your kindness. For a weakness or whatnot. So what I said in that tweet was in those line. It was in that line.
I think we're getting closer.
Yeah, don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. But not that I say I do that, but sometimes I can break that and I give too much information or whatnot. And sometimes it can be a disappointment in the future when the idea or whatever I said to them comes back to me. So it was to basically say that, like, if I lie more about like what my left hand is doing, my right hand, about my right hand is doing to my left hand, it's just to be more about you, about like watching, it's like kind of like, you know how when somebody say, if you start a war or whatnot and you pick your battles right, but you don't win the war or whatnot.
Yeah.
Or, whatever that saying is basically in that way. Yeah. I sounded stupid in the beginning and just kept digging myself in the hole.
No. I'm gonna try to add just.
We'll pull it up some other time.
So,
not. Yeah.
vulnerability.
Ask me. I'm like, yo, here's a tweet link. There you go.
Vulnerabilities. We all have them, and
less vulnerable about myself.
Okay.
About myself. It wasn't something that goes with everybody, but it deals with vulnerability, of a person who is kind. Is to me just lie a little bit more about what's going on, because sometimes a person who easily know that their kindness can be taken advantage of, you kind of like let that slide sometimes. And it's something I want to see less happen to me. It's not people take my kindness for weakness.
The thing about kind people and nice people is what I want them to do more of, and what I'm trying to practice is establishing more stronger boundaries. Because assholes have super strong boundaries. Mean people have just the strongest and they will not give up on anything. So nice people, it's all about boundaries and enforcing them. It's like, okay, here's what I'm not going to allow you to do to me or my friends or whoever I'm working with professionally. Here's what I will not allow. And then when they trespass, there's a consequence for it. And I've noticed, and I'm sure you've noticed this, is like people respect you more when they know that there are consequences that will be enforced if they trespass on whatever it is you said. And I don't, this is obviously not a violent thing, but it's more like, okay, here's a perfect example. And this is happening.
It's like, I can put up this wall, but like I can put up another wall.
There's 2 walls.
We're going to build 2 fucking walls for Mexico, 2 of them.
Yeah.
Here's an example that's happened to me. It's like you sign on to a project, and I know everyone's gotten burned. I'm sure you gotten burned too. You sign on to a project, didn't sign a contract, and they don't end up paying you for it. And you're like, wow, I fucking should have got the contract signed, because now look at me. Fucking my fucking thumb up my ass with no money. So it's situations like that. Yeah. Boundaries are good. We went off on a long damn tangent, but now we're coming back to the beginning. We're coming back to the game gear. We didn't do this in the beginning. We're gonna do it now, IMKA. As we taxi off, imagine that we are in physical space right now. I've never done this in physical space, but this is gonna be kind of, just imagine that we're in a digital space inside of a warehouse that has not been, that I can't quite get into right now because of some issues that I will not talk about, because there's a mysterious being who's not letting me in there at the moment. But it's a warehouse, and there's a room in there that was made just for you. It's blank. There are 6 white walls. It's just a square room about the size of this place, and it's for you, and you can live in there. You can do whatever you want to this room, and we're gonna draw it, animate it, and post. And anytime you can go into this room, and anytime you and I chat on DSC, you're gonna be in this place. So what does it look like? What does it sound like? What's in there?
Wow. Okay. My dream house, you said,
it's a 1 room.
It's 1 room, 4 walls.
We don't have the budget for houses yet.
No. I'm just saying, like, what was going to be in my dream home.
Yeah, hit me.
In that, okay. Let's see. Wood floors. That same type of wood and whatnot that would go on that wood floor will also be on the ceiling. And like I said, I'm into plants. I love outdoor life. I actually would probably get like some great National Geographic forest photos or whatnot and duplicate it on the walls around me. What else? Like LED lights on the ground, but in the corner, Like, I mean, I get like in the corner of like the wall or whatnot.
The
between the
intersections,
curtain.
like so.
Yeah.
Like,
So like, you know, like at the end of the floor right there.
Yeah.
Like LED, like a LED strip going around the living room.
what kind of colors?
White. Just like a small glow.
Any windows?
Yeah. On one wall, it'll just be all glass.
Is there anything outside of the window?
Outside of the window. Over a lake. The lake probably has like fog coming above it, like floating above it.
Okay.
A grayish, greenish day outside. A table to the left against one of the walls. I guess to the left wall. Be like a long, like lunch table desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you know them homes that's like in the 60s and 70s or whatnot, that when you walk in, it drops down probably like a foot.
So like a 2 steps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I walk in or whatnot from the front door, which is south, as far as like 6 feet in, I probably would go to, that'd be like my living room area,
Yeah.
where it drops in probably like a foot that you walk down into it.
What's it sound like? We'll taper off on that because I have a
Oh, what it sounds like?
I have a strong enough visual image to draw it out, and we'll compare it to your idea later. But what is it? What are the sounds in there? That's what we'll leave off with. The
Flat.
sound. Flat.
Probably about like
I was not expecting.
probably like 5 to 10% of ambience. So that means something's gonna have to be soaking up the walls, which would be like studio installation. People go crazy in the complete
complete
flat,
silence.
ambient, room, but have it open up about like 5 or 10%.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
That's good right there.
So it's quieter than quiet. It's quieter. What we imagine to be.
Yeah, you know how like you go into like a log. I mean, you ever been to like a log, like a cabin or whatnot?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Yeah, in a cabin you get that. So you don't get that close, down to those decibel levels or whatnot in quietness, but it gives you somewhat of that same feeling when you walk into like a cabinet where the sound just gets damped, Yeah, that's what it would sound like to me.
All right, beautiful. IMKA's
Like-
cabin.
Like a damp sound, like in noise, in ambience. Yeah.
Cool. We're gonna have all that. We're gonna have all that stuff in post.
Speaking in detail, wow. Well, I have audio recording of like places like that, so I might just give you that, and you'll be able to hear it. Like, oh, this is the difference between a room that's very open, that has like, what do you call it? Like glass, like a whole bunch of glass windows and like hospital type floors, and compared to like recording, with my H5 or whatnot in a room that the sound is very damp in there.
Are these things
as far as like you're taking the ambience away in a room?
When you walk into a room, are you noticing these things, like what level of quiet it is? Like,
like when you walk in the library, you know damn well you better not be trying to talk all loud and stuff. But
to me,
but you also notice a big difference, but I also notice a big difference in different places, kind of like going from like a DC metro to a New York metro.
Oh, okay.
Like, like for some reason in DC metro, people just don't really talk. But when I go to New York, it's loud as shit. But the reason it's loud, and I think the reason why a lot of people are loud is because the way those trains are built. Like they do have those, what do you call it, ceramics, like, or whatever type of floor. Yeah, like concrete.
They're
like,
concrete floors?
Yeah. Oh, like no, and like, well, not in the station before, but when you step into the train, it's like what you have on your kitchen floor, like that plastic type ceramic. Anyways, it's a different sound in there, and compared to like jumping into like a DC metro and it's all carpet.
Yeah.
And you're all like, yo, like, yeah, I'm not gonna get loud in here. I just can't. It would just look weird. People would just be like, yo, you're very loud in here, because it's very damp in there, as far as like its ambient sound level. So yeah, that's how you really tell the difference. That's how I tell the difference. I can tell, like, very distinctly. We talking like imagery, like, oh my gosh, like talking very detailed today.
We're getting there. We're in the zone. No, it's cool. We're gonna clean it all up and post it anyway.
Oh, no, that's okay.
All right, we gotta wrap this thing up nice and clean.
Yeah.
Now we're traveling out of the chaos realm. We've been in there with IMKA, in IMKA's beautiful cabin that is almost perfectly quiet, but is not. IMKA, please tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Bandcamp, evidenceofyesterday.bandcamp.com. I have a couple songs up there, and also a catalog, well, like a release that I did of like my older music from like 2006 up to like 2018, last year, I guess. And evidenceofyesterday.com. It's currently live, but not fully live, but you still can go there if you need to contact me or anything. And Twitter, Instagram, official IMKA, and yeah, IMKA official first, then IMKA. That's about it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. I can't talk, everybody. I'm in the chaos realm. I just came out of the chaos realm, and now it makes me stutter uncontrollably. Thank you for coming on this show.
Yeah, no
it's been
problem.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
Loved it.
Woo, baby! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. I love my.
I like this. We was really trying to talk, like, we was really talking.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Like,
I had
imagery, like just talking about the emotion, like try to get a grasp for it by saying it vocally. Like,
would you like a cookie?
yeah, I'll take a cookie.
It's caramel and chocolate.
Oh, caramel and chocolate?
Yeah, sorry about like some of these are squished, so
You trying to kill me, Michelle, with this beautiful...
Oh, shit.
I don't have anything in it.
you went right it.
Oh, my man.
Thank you.
You
No, this is
have
cool.
nothing in it. How did that happen?
Dude, you know my dream, though?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's going to sound crazy to you.
Here's another pretty one.
As you're talking about the... So I told you I'm gonna draw what you described.
Yeah.
What I want, and I know this is crazy,